Welcome back everybody to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel. If you are not a subscriber, feel free to do so. There's no cost. And you can also click the little bell symbol if you'd like to be notified when a new video has appeared on the channel. So I have set up my Singer 99K because I have gone through the oiling portions of the overhaul, and I wanted to show you the machine finish on this particular one that I found, which came in a carry case, was, as I often find, in pretty good condition. I did notice a couple of, there are actually two paint chips, and I positioned the camera. I believe you should be able to see them. The light can be funny when you're dealing with a shiny surface like this, but there's one here and one slightly oblong right below it. Now, there are different ways to do touch-up. I've shown other videos in the past. What I typically use is for black machines and white machines, I use a product that some of you may recognize from getting in hobby stores or arts and crafts stores. These are Testor's Crafts paints. They've been around forever. They were often used for people who were doing models. Now, Testor's has different kinds of products. They have acrylics, and then they have their traditional solvent-based product. This is the solvent base, and this is what I suggest you use. Acrylic paints are fine for some things, but they don't typically hold up well to abrasion. They are softer products, and they just don't do well when you paint metal with them, and I would recommend using this this particular product. Now, they sell different kinds of paint thinners for these. As I think I mentioned to you all before, I will typically I just use my 97-99% isopropyl alcohol, and it seems to work fine. Now, sometimes you can clean your sewing machine with different kinds of solutions to get grease and oil off. The reason being, if you have any kind of oil or dirt on something you're going to paint, this is true of just about any kind of painting, it can cause problems with the new paint adhering to the surface. Unfortunately, because these shellac-based finishes, these beautiful black Singer finishes, are extremely vulnerable to alcohol. Even lower percentage alcohol, like 50-50, just don't get alcohol anywhere near them, because if just one drop and you basically will see the finish begin to dissolve. They're extremely not resistant to alcohol and just about any other solvent. Now, kerosene is something that some people have used on them, but of course kerosene is not going to be helpful, because if I were to use kerosene, it has such an oily consistency, it would make things worse. So what I've done is I've got myself one of my precision Q-tip cotton swabs. If you don't have these, I mean, you can use another cotton swab. Don't panic. And what I'm going to do is, this is a clean cotton swab. It's cotton, it's absorbent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply take it and I'm going to, just gently push in and kind of rub back and forth. And I don't know if it'll show up here on the camera, but I can see, hold it still for you, there's some soiling, right? I don't know if that's old oil or if it's dirt or what it is. But because the cotton swab's white, it's easy to see. Then I'll take the other end and I'll do the same thing with my other paint chip. And these paint chips may have been here for a long time. Usually they happen like this. Some brands had issues with their paint becoming unstable, necky. Unfortunately, some of their machines had that issue. Singer did not typically have this problem from when they left the factory, but usually what happens with something like this is someone dropped something, right? Something, they may have had an attachment. Remember, the old attachments were all made of heavy metal too, and it would be, you can see how they could have caused a chip on the paint. So what I did, and I did the same thing here, and I can see, again, it's a bit faint, so I don't know if it will pick up for you. You can see the cotton swab's not white. And you can do it again until you basically don't see anything on the cotton swab. Is it perfect? No, but because we're dealing with a solvent paint, I'm hoping that it will be enough. I have never had a problem with my paint touch-ups not staying on, as long as I did a cleaning. Now with other paint finishes on sewing machines, I have taken maybe like 50-50 isopropyl water, and I've been able to carefully use something like that on other paints, but not the shellac. I know I've called these lacquer before. I think there was some sort of shellac process that Singer used. Always assume that your paint, the paint on your sewing machine is vulnerable. Do not assume anything. You really have to find an inconspicuous spot and try, if you have like say a later machine, like you see me do Kenmore's from the 70s. They had a different paint technology, but you still have to be careful with all of them. Anyway, so I am rubbing these little chips and I'm not finding any more, really not getting anything more on my cotton swab. So I'm hopeful that that will be enough to make it clean enough for what I'm attempting to do here. So I am going to take the testers, and again, you'll want to have rags or a paper towel, and this paint, if it dries on your brush is toast. And these brushes aren't super expensive. They're okay. They're soft enough to do what I'm doing with them. But waste not, want not, as the old saying goes. And when you first are doing this, and I've shown this in other videos where I talk about paint touch-up, when you are applying paint, start with a small amount first. If you put too much paint on the brush, you're going to end up with a blob. It's going to be, it can be difficult. I dip it in the paint, and then I sort of put it against the side of the jar. So what I'm going to do here, I think I've got it zoomed in here for you all. Yes. I'm basically just going to come, and you don't want to paint like you're painting a house here. Okay, so I'm just going to come down and I'm going to dab a spot, and then I'm going to leave it alone. Don't fuss with it, because you'll end up, this paint is going to show brush marks if you do that. So I've got just a slight more. I'll show you how much. I've got this oblong chip to touch up. I've got a little bit more paint on, but again, I'm being very conservative, because the last thing I want to do is flood and get too much on there. I'm just dabbing it, done. And you notice I didn't go back. And you say, well, what if it's not perfect? It won't be perfect. Let's let it dry. When you let the paint dry, it's going to shrink, and it may look like it's raised. And in fact, I may have to come back with one more coat with a lesser amount of paint. Now the testers is going to behave in many ways like the nail polish that I used on the pink machine that I recently did a touch-up on. The main difference is the testers, especially with black or white, will give you better coverage. With nail polishes, a lot of times, with these colors, they don't cover quite like the testers paint do, but it's no big deal. Nail polish dries quickly. The testers will dry, but it will dry a little more slowly than the nail polish. Nail polish is formulated with tons of solvent, so that it will dry quickly, so that you can keep applying it. With the testers paint, once I've applied this needs to dry. Now, to really show you how we can really get geeky and OCD with paint, testers is formulated to be applied, and it's a paint that the way you do multiple coats matters here, okay? This is important. If you go to their website, they actually explain what they mean by this, but once you apply the paint, you can go back and apply another coat within a certain window of time. And right now I would have to go back because I don't remember the exact time that testers gave. But there's a window in which you can do that. If you miss that window, then you don't want to try putting in the second coat until the paint has cured. And I don't know if it's 2 or 3 days or whatever it is. The reason for this is if you try to apply a second coat after the first coat has started to cure, but it is not fully cured, the next coat the solvent in the next coat will actually lift the first coat, if that makes sense. So what are my options? I think I have an hour or something like that. Maybe I don't remember. Please don't quote me. They have it. Testors has it on their website. When you apply this, I either have to come back with another coat, or I can wait several days and let it really cure, and then come back with that second coat. My personal preference is to wait, and the reason for that is I like to wait until the paint has cured, because that tells me how much it shrank, right? Because the paint film is very thin. It's much thinner than, say, what the chip was. And we're basically filling in a hole here, a very shallow hole. So my approach is put your first coat, leave it alone, let it dry. I'm going to give it several days and let it cure. I think it's 48 hours. Again, I don't like guessing to tell you that. So again, follow the instructions that they provide. You can find them easily on their website. So in several days, I'll come back and I'll give that last coat if I need to. Usually, if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to come back, I probably will put a lighter coat because I won't need as much paint. My goal, what is my goal? My goal is to get the paint chips filled as level as possible, okay? I don't want a big mountain, a big bump or bead of paint sticking up, but I don't want it to still have a deep crevice. And again, it's not going to be like the original finish, but you're protecting the machine, the metal on the machine. You're also giving a smoother surface than the chip will allow when you're sliding fabric. And it looks, to some people, they like it. Other people don't care. I mean, I've seen machines where, the old finish, once it was clean, you have to clean the machine, of course, of grease and filth and dust. But whether you like your machine to be touched up and brought back as much as possible to its original painted glory, or whether you like some of the scratches and the bumps and bruises of a lifetime of sewing as part of the patina. That is a very subjective thing. I don't really have a strong opinion. There are times when I do touch up on machines. Of all the colors, black is probably the simplest in terms of matching. I got very lucky with a paint machine I did recently, but that was really luck because there are so many colors out there. But anyway, this is, again, touching up an area that, again, this area will get a lot of use. And so I do have the goal of making sure that it is smooth for the sewing, because it is going to be used for sewing. And we don't want any kind of chips, ragged edges of the chip of the paint pulling on fabrics, and that can happen. So anyway, just wanted to show you this little bit as I'm making my way towards, hopefully, got, I think, maybe a little bit more work to do on this model, and then hopefully it is debut series or debut video. I have a whole series of debut videos that I have when a machine is ready, and I'll demonstrate its sewing capability. Anyway, I appreciate all of you for watching, whether you are a devoted Singer fan or just a vintage sewing machine fan, or maybe you just stumbled here by accident. I appreciate you watching the channel, and I will see you next time.